One of the questions that I got in my group is, how do I prevent a potentially explosive situation? And so really the answer to that is making sure that in the first place that you're doing the work, so that way things aren't going to make you explode. The example that I like to use for this is, let's pretend that you're on the freeway and somebody cuts you off. If you're balanced and in a good space and somebody cuts you off, it doesn't matter. You're like, oh, maybe they have something going on and that they need to do. You're not going to be bothered by it. Whereas if somebody cuts you off on the freeway and you're not in a good space, you're not balanced, you're like, why did they cut me off? You might be screaming, you might be yelling, doing gestures, right? And you might even be talking about it way after the situation even happened in the first place. So the goal is to be in a balanced place, because when you're in a balanced place, that's going to prevent you from exploding at things that later are going to take more energy and effort for you to recover from. So the very first thing that I recommend is that you do your daily energy work practice. The one that I teach is that you bring in the white light, you let go, and you fill that space with I am statements. The idea is that we don't hold on to all this stuff, right? So yes, we're constantly healing things from childhood and other life experiences, but we want to make sure that we are not, just continually putting things in our body energetically to store and deal with later, but we don't deal with them later. Because when that happens, that's that situation where you're on the freeway and somebody cuts you off and then you're all angry and upset. And it's not even about that person cutting you off on the freeway. It's just your body couldn't energetically hold any more of this baggage that you've been carrying. So daily energy work practice is key. The next thing that you want to do is self-care, right? So energy work practice every single day, that's going to be clearing you out. The second thing is a self-care practice, okay? So that includes your energy work, that includes getting enough sleep at night, making sure that you're eating foods that's appropriate for you, not starving yourself all day, right? Because then you get hangry. All these little things that you can do to support your body are going to help you not explode. So these are like little things that you can do, right? But let's just say it's the holidays, right? We're right there. Let's just say it might even be the election day or the day after the election day, and you're just so upset because your candidate's not winning or whatever. We need to make sure that we're catching ourselves as quickly as possible. So if we're not doing the preventative work ahead of time so that way we're not exploding, we want to make sure that we're doing the energy work as it's happening in that moment live. I like to call this your pivotal moment, right? So let's say that you're already triggered, somebody said something, did something, and you're roaring, you're ready to explode. What you have to do in that moment is you have to say, oh my gosh, I'm doing it, right? Step one is to recognize that you're doing it. You're getting ready to explode. The next thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you're stopping it. You're going to stop that explosion. You're going to stop whatever's coming out of your mouth. You're going to stop the energy that is pouring out of your body, and you're going to say, I need to let go right now, very quickly. And you're just going to imagine pulling it out like smoke or like weeds and pull it out of your body. And then because you've been in the middle of exploding, now we've got to apologize to the people that we've been exploding to, because it's not their fault that you were triggered, right? Sometimes they just came in at a bad moment, right? Just like the person that cut you off when you're not in a good space. So now you've got to apologize. So my fourth technique for you is to pay attention to how you felt when you were exploding, so that way you don't explode again, right? You're going to have signs and symptoms in your body. If you're overtired, if you didn't eat, if you're already in a bad space from something somebody else said or did, if you're not in a good mood that day, whatever it may be, those are all telltale signs that you're holding on to that and you're on that pathway to explode. So once you've recognized what your patterns are when you're going to explode, then you need to start to pay attention to, I can feel it building in my body, and I know I need to do letting go. At the end of the day, letting go is your answer to not exploding, because you're holding on to things that you shouldn't be holding on to anymore, and energetically you're trying to dump it. That's what an explosion is. And so when that's starting to happen to you, that's your sign that you need to do letting go. And granted, in my first book, I have 40 pages on letting go. I was just in a group call today, and they're like, letting go can be tricky. It can be tricky, and it can be hard to know what you're clearing, what you're letting go. That's why people hire me, right? But at the end of the day, if you're just trying to clear and let go, go for a walk. Go for a jog. Go outside in nature. Move your body, and just consciously say, I'm releasing anything that no longer serves me. And if you're like, well, does that work? It's going to work if you're feeling better. If we just go outside into nature, we feel better. Sometimes if we just remove ourselves from a situation, we feel better. So the letting go doesn't have to be hard and complicated, but it is a key essential part of your process in exploding, because when you're triggered and you explode, that's your sign that you didn't do the letting go you needed to do. You're holding on to too much and your body is like, this is too much energy and I have to let it go. Okay? So we want to make sure that we're not carrying that energy. We're not holding on to things forever, right? We want to let go as things come up. And the best way you're going to do that is with your daily energy practice. So just to recap, you're going to have your daily energy practice, whatever that means for you, whether that's the one I teach or one that you create on your own or something else that you follow. You're going to make sure that you're taking self-care every day, especially as we get closer to the holidays, especially as we get closer to election time. You want to make sure that you're taking care of your body so you're in a good place. That way, whatever's happening around you, you're not exploding, right? Nobody wants that. Then if you are exploding, you want to pay attention to catching yourself in your pivotal moment when it's happening, changing as quickly as possible. And you're going to clear, let go, and you're going to apologize to everybody that you exploded to. And then the fourth thing you're going to do is you're going to pay attention to what happens when you do explode and when you're on that path, so that way you can prevent it from happening going forward. So when you're exploding, it's an energy thing. And people around you are going to think that it's about them. And it's really not. It's about you, because you should be able to be in any situation and be calm and peaceful and grounded. And if you're not, then that tells you that you have some work to do, so that way you can't be in that space. And every moment you get to decide, am I going to be in balance or am I not going to be? Am I going to let people trigger me or am I not going to let them trigger me? You have that control over your energy. And the best thing you can do is have that energy practice and do that self-care, so that way you don't build and you don't explode. All right, thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video.